Hi students, in this video I will be showing you how to create links on your NHDWebCentral site that link to a specific part of a different page on your NHDWebCentral site. So I've got a page here about the Great Chicago Fire with 3 sections on it, section 1, 2, and 3. And then I've got on my historical context page, I've got some text that I would like to link to those different sections, not just to the top of the page, but specifically to those sections. So I will show you how to do that now. The first thing we need to do is kind of assign labels or anchors or ID tags, you could call them, to the sections on the Fire page. So let's go to that page right now. And so I'm going to click on section 1, and I'm just going to go ahead and grab that actual text box. For me, I think I use the subheading block to create these sections. And I'm going to go over on the right-hand side in my attributes over to settings, and there's this field called ID. So you can set this to whatever you want, but keep it something simple and recognizable. I'm just going to do section 1 without any spaces, and I'm going to click save. I'm going to repeat that process for section 2. So I'm going to go into my ID here. It might already have a name, an ID name in there, or it might be blank. But either way, you can use the one that's already in there if you want, but I like changing it to something that's easy to recognize. So, and change section 3 to section 3. So I've got section 1, section 2, and section 3. The next thing that I need to do is I've actually now created the ability to jump to specific parts on that page. So let's actually quickly make sure you save, and then let's quickly preview this page. So let's click the little eyeball here and preview the page. And so we can see there's nothing visible going on here, but what I've done is created kind of an invisible element in the HTML code for the page. And if I look at the URL of the page that I'm using up here, so the actual like kind of site address, I realize that might be a little bit hard to see, but if I go ahead and just take the end of the address and I put a hashtag or a pound sign, and then I put in the name of one of those anchors. So let's go ahead and go down all the way down to section 3. So I'm just going to take the URL that's already there, and I'm going to add pound or hashtag section 3 to the end and hit enter. And what you should see is that's going to jump me down straight to start at section 3. This is one thing about to note about using this technique is that if you're jumping to something toward the bottom of your page, it can't scroll down further than the bottom of your actual page. So normally it would try and scroll me all the way down so that section 3 is appearing at the top of my page. I'll show you what I mean. When I jump to section 2, you should see it appears right at the top of the browser window. But section 3, again, let me just show you how that jumps. It can't get to the top because there's nowhere further for it to scroll down. So that's just something to look out for kind of when you're using this technique. But we can see just by testing that adding that hashtag or pound sign section 1, section 2, or section 3 does seem to work with these URLs. And so from there, the process is actually pretty straightforward. So now what I can do is take my section 1 URL, so that's the whole entire page address. So again, we got here by like pressing preview and getting the actual like on the web URL of the page, and then adding the hashtag section 1 after it. I'm just going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to go back to editing my website, and back on the page where I want to create my links, I will now select the text that I want to use for my link to section 1. And there should be like a little text editing box that pops up when you're working with text in NHDWebCentral, but sometimes it doesn't seem to appear for me, and it's not appearing right now. I don't know why that is, but if you press Control K, or it might be Command K if you're on a Mac, but I'm going to press Control K now, and that should bring up the menu to let me create a link. And basically all I'm doing is just creating a link to that exact URL that we figured out earlier, and it should just be a matter of copying and pasting. So I'm going to go ahead and paste my section 1 URL there. And then I'm not even going to bother copy and pasting the others because they're so simple. I'm just going to paste section 1, but replace the 1 with a 2. And then I'll do that again, replacing the 1 with a 3 for section 3. And so if I save everything and I preview again, what we should see is on my context page, if I click on this link to go to section 1 of the Fire, boom, I'm right there. Section 1 is at the top of my page. If I go back, section 2 takes me to section 2 right at the top of my page, and the section 3 link can't quite make it to the top of the page, but it does at least bring me as far down as it possibly can. So once again, that is the process for creating links in your NHD Web Central site that link to specific parts of another page of your NHD Web Central site. I hope you find this tip useful, and good luck making history with your websites. Thanks.